Hi, and welcome to another virtual water cooler drop-in event for the one-to-one thing for my podcast. That's where it started from, but it's pretty much gone just as a virtual water cooler. And let me clear my throat. And it's an opportunity for sort of me to show up live. Always daunting when I kick these things off and it's just me all by myself. But nonetheless, I am excited to be here. It's a big rock in my day, in my week, and it's an opportunity for people just to come on board and connect. My throat sounds a bit hoarse today because I was out performing yesterday. I was jamming with some friends, cajon percussion, and rocking out. So it was a bit of a raucous night. So forgive me for that. But it's not about me. It's about you. So if you're seeing this, dropping into your feed, come in and join. I just had my friend Justin. He must have got the message. How you doing, buddy? He's getting himself sorted out, and I can hear him. So and it's coming through the wrong input for me. So
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
I can't hear you still. I'm working on it. It's me.
Is it you? Okay. I can hear me in my monitor, but I'm not sure. Testing 1 2. 1 2. That's me all night getting myself ready for mic checks all over the place. I can hear you clicking, but it's not coming through on an audio setting. And Pierre, nice to see you. Glad you can join, albeit in the chat. So if the link is in the chat, if you want to jump on, we'd great to see you in the studio here. So please feel free to join. I'm just gonna make sure that I'll get where is he? Pierre. I'll send him a quick message as well.
I can hear you.
Is that better? Steve. Oh, okay. And I can hear you too.
You could probably hear the echo too. I'm working on that as well.
Okay, echo cancellation maybe.
Oh, is it
joining from somewhere else? It's the beauty of going live. You know, this is you can't fake this. You can't fake this stuff. Not that you'd want to, but and we got Pierre and Paul. Oh my goodness! We're gonna have a good chat today. I can get rid of my little poster now.
And there you were thinking that you're all by yourself.
Oh, well, you know what? Often I am. So
I was listening then, quietly trying to get in.
Thank you. And then Justin's still trying to work out some stuff. Paul, can you hear me okay? You all good?
Hey, Steve. Good to see you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. And if anyone's listening in, hopefully my audio is a bit better. I realized I had a wrong setting in Restream. There's some little quirks when you've got an external microphone that it picks up other things quick by default. So all that to say, welcome. Hey, it's another Wednesday. It's another water cooler. There's always stuff going on in our lives. So I'm not gonna start because I'm usually kicking off with me waxing about all sorts of things. But this is a space for all of us. So any highlights of the week so far? Anything going on?
Yeah. It's holiday season, as you know, Steve. It's holiday season in the UK. It's dead. All my meetings were cancelled and everything, so it's just it's a quiet one. You know what I
It's
mean?
quiet. Yeah. What do we do? I mean, let's throw that question into the pot. Then what is the best use? What is a good use? Not the best. What is a good use of quiet time, of downtime, of a still season?
Catching up with all the stuff you haven't done in the past, which you've been meaning to do. So taking this opportunity to rewrite your LinkedIn profile, you check everything, redo everything, just get it ready for the next season, for the next opportunities to get out there and get noticed.
Yeah.
I've met you before, Justin, haven't I?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. And Paul, have you met Paul?
Don't know.
I don't think we've met, but it's nice
first
to
time.
meet you, Pierre.
Yeah. So, Paul, Pierre, you're in the UK. You're in London still right now, Pierre?
I am indeed.
Okay. Yeah. So we got two on the east side, two on the west side of the Atlantic.
Yeah. Indeed.
So what else? Anyone else? What do they do when things are quote unquote quiet?
Waste time.
That's why Justin's here, to keep it real, man.
Keep it real. That's what I do. Unfortunately, that's that's what I do.
Yeah. There's strategies for that, and I hear you big time on that one.
Strategies to waste time effectively.
Oh,
or
no,
strategies
to I think I think there are. It's a more. I'm feeling like it's more about process than progress, because progress is not always within your area or your influence of control, but process usually is. So I'll Mr. Whiskey's not here to promote all the things that I do, so I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
Which I like when he's here because I don't have to say it, but you can see above me here, I've got a new kind of logo theme in here. My daughter really helped with that. Adina Wright Design. I'll give her a shout out. Adina Wright .design. She's a visual identity branding person. She's moving into that space, and she's got a good eye. She's always been artistic. She's not the artist. Danielle is the artist, but Adina's definitely got very discerning eye, and she's a literary person. She likes to write, so she's moved into that space, and she helped me with coming up with a branding theme logo. So you'll start seeing these colors and themes across my stuff. So to Pierre's point, redoing
out for a t-shirt.
Sorry,
a t-shirt. We'll need a t-shirt.
Yes, we will need a t-shirt, and you recognize this one.
Oh yes, of course. Of course.
There's a story behind this.
Of course, yes.
The t-shirt's better than the team, right?
Oh, by far.
But yeah, to Pierre's point, redoing banners and logos and things. I think that's one of things that's on my process list to get done. And there was an interesting technique that we used working with another coach about being able to bring leverage to what you're doing. And we typically write a pros and cons list in terms of what's good about something, what's bad about it. And we've come up with or he came up with, or collectively we sort of landed with a list that is the benefits of doing and the pains of not doing. So rather than pros and cons of something, it's what's the benefits if you do it, and what's the disbenefits if you don't. So you end up with two lists leaning into what you want to do. And I did that for a vision, for a goal, and Claude helped, and AI is a good place to kind of give you some pointers, because you want a lot of things on the list, and it really helped in terms of sort of going, it turned the screws a little bit in terms of getting leverage on taking action towards a goal. So that's a process thing. To the question is, what can you do when it's quiet? Hey, Carl.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
In sync. Waiting for your lips and your sound, your voice and your match.
Is it out of sync already? I'm using Safari.
Good.
It's good to me.
Yeah, I'm just excited that you're in sync. That's all.
Oh, right. Okay. So I am in sync. I look like I'm in sync from here anyway. So how are you all?
We're doing good. We're just going around the house. So, Pierre was commenting that things were a bit quiet. August and holidays and stuff. I guess depends on where you are in the world as to how quiet it is. And the question in the room was like, what do you do, or what do you do when it's quiet? So whether it's sort of prepping stuff, I was just talking about process and leveraging yourself to get stuff done. And then just want to hear from Paul and yourself in terms of what could you do, what do you do, what would you do when things are quiet?
Well, it's not quiet enough for me, actually. I kind of I'm trying, as you know, but probably not everyone knows, I'm working on a book, and I've set myself a goal to write it and have it published during September to marry up with a campaign that I'm launching. So I'm doing that. I've had to learn some other stuff as well, and suddenly I thought LinkedIn's taking too much of my time right now. Despite what I coach all my clients to do, I'm going to just stop doing stuff on LinkedIn for a little while, just so I can, a few days. And I'm looking at my taskbar on LinkedIn now, and I've gone in and gotten rid of all of my DMs and some of my comments, and I'm still looking at 94 that I've still got to go through. I've only been off for a few days, and I have been telling people that August is quiet. But what I'm kind of seeing at the moment, the post that I've already posted, and one that I just chucked out today to let the algorithm know that I was still alive, seem to be doing better than they normally would. And I'm wondering if it's because I've been absent from the platform for a few days, and suddenly it's kind of trying to lure me back in. I don't know. So I'm not going to say to you, go and try it and be absent, because that goes against everything that all the LinkedIn gurus tell you to do. But so far, this week especially, it's been too busy. I've really had so many distractions. I've had to cut it off, and I've had new client interviews and all that kind of stuff as well, which I wasn't expecting for August. August is usually dead, especially the last 2 weeks, which we're in now. So but anyone that is experiencing a quiet time, it's normal, it's natural. Everyone's in holiday mode. It's like being abroad, being in the UK. I mean, even you right up north in Lancashire, where it rains for a living up there.
The sun's through right now. I'm trying to shade myself.
There you go. You've been basking in sunshine. So of course the Brits aren't going to be on LinkedIn, are they? They're going to be enjoying the rare sunshine that we have. So so don't beat yourselves up over it. It's normal. It happens in August, so it will get better.
And sometimes the quietness allows people to kind of, the people that are around to actually engage. Maybe that could be a thing too.
Yeah, I think you've got a point there. You haven't got all the noise, so you can have meaningful conversations and build meaningful relationships. And you should also be fishing in other people's ponds. If you don't know what that is, check out my Delivery with Agility LinkedIn newsletter, and you'll find out what that's all about. I've written a series on it.
Mr. Whiskey's not but Carl's here.
We're going to promote ourselves. So I hope that Paul, Justin, and Pierre are going to be promoting themselves next. So I'll shut up and let you get on with your personal marketing.
Paul's a LinkedIn expert. I'm dying to know if he's observed this trend of going quiet and it having more effect.
You know, it's interesting because, like, as I was listening to this conversation, like, part of one of the things, Steve, you and I talked about this, like, when I'm on these conversations, like, I love the mute button because it allows me to really, like, fully be present and kind of, like, hear things. Because so often in these conversations, like, when things spark, people tend to, like, interject and all these different things. And I think that one of the things that I learned from myself this year is that I, like, intentionally schedule quiet time every day, because I feel like the quiet time is really when you can actually, like, hear your voice, right? Because there's so much going on and you can actually, like, process your own thoughts. And kind of like to Carl's point, one of the things that I've kind of loved about, I feel like just like my story in general has been about, like, being an outlier and showing up differently and all these things, but, like, so many people wonder why they're out of alignment and all these different things. And it's like, you listen to things that other people tell you when your journey is different. And I think, like, one of the big things that I really learned this year, and Steve, you and I kind of talked about this, right, with AI and all the resources, like 99% of people can tell you what to do, but it's really only like that small 1% that can explain kind of why things work and how things, and show people how to actually do stuff. And when I had started working with my clients and doing a lot of, like, LinkedIn training and strategy, I don't really think I understood kind of the why behind all those things worked. It was kind of just something that, I mean, made sense to me at the time. And one of the big things that I've done this year that I haven't done for the past, like, 4 or 5 years is I've actually started taking breaks on social media. And I there were two, like, really powerful breakthroughs that I kind of realized. The first one is that when I was gone, it allowed all of the previous content that I did to kind of not only work for me, but it allowed people to actually digest and process what I was actually putting out there. And I think, like, to this culture, right, like Carl was saying, right, all the quote unquote experts of LinkedIn and gurus tell you, like, you have to do this, and it's like, what's so funny is what I'm actually finding is that when I took a break and people actually got to process stuff, there's a lot of people on LinkedIn that I come across who have great content. And I would say a lot of my feed, it's a lot of, like, deep and insightful stuff, and it actually takes time to process it. But people are wondering a lot of times why they're creating more and nothing's moving. Is like, you're constantly hitting people with new stuff every day. They didn't even get a chance to really, like, digest and understand what you said in the first place. And it's like, when we look at how that relates to life, you're always constantly growing, like, all these different things. It's only really when you slow down, reflect, take a step back, do you really get to kind of understand and appreciate the journey. And I thought that was, like, one of the things. And what was so interesting is during my time away, because the way that I built my network was very intentionally, it actually kind of changed my perspective and my own definition of value, to the point where value is when other people actually notice that you're gone, right? Because it's like, we have so many different things, millions of things going on. I remember, like, communities that I was a part of, because I would show up all the time. I missed, like, one thing and people are messaging me like, oh, where are you? You know, all these different things. And I think, like, for a lot of people, I really do believe that's why we have to, like, lose things to really, like, kind of appreciate it, because it's only when you don't have that thing do you realize, like, wow, that was, like, valuable. And for a lot of people, a lot of times, like, when you lose stuff, you really can't get a lot of it back, right? So I think for me, that was a big thing that I learned, is that if you ever want to know, like, if the things that you're creating are mattering or affecting people, taking a step back is such a great way, because there's billions of people on LinkedIn, right? Users, and a small percentage of that create content. But a lot of people, if you stop posting, most people don't even care, right? So the fact that you've managed to make people like aware, and there's a connection and something behind that, to where it's like, wow, this person's like, I see them all the time on my feed, they're not there. And it gets a lot of people to really think about what they're doing. And it's almost kind of this idea, I would say, of less is more. And it's one of those things, right? Everybody says it. I hate a lot of these platitudes that people say, because it like sounds good, but then you actually have to figure out, like, what does that actually mean for myself, like in my life and on my journey. And I think that's where a lot of the insight and the advice that, a lot of these, it's why for me, like, I'll never really consider myself an expert, because I think that the only thing that you're an expert on is yourself and your story. Like, going to this idea of coaching and mentorship, I didn't really understand that a lot of people in that space are really just teaching you how to be like them, right? Because a lot of people can only kind of teach you what they know, but it's really about getting people to not only like trust themselves, but to think for themselves. And that's why, like, when people say stuff, you have to ask yourself, like, oh, what do I think about this? Like, that sounds good, but is it actually applicable? And is it even something that aligns with me, my values, and where I'm trying to go? Because honestly, like, there's a lot of these people who are massive influencers. And when I first started on LinkedIn, it was really interesting, because I didn't start off doing LinkedIn training and strategy. I was in the finance world. My network was like really small. I had maybe like 1,000 people. And I want to say like 90% of my network had like 10 times plus the following that I did. And what I realized was, the bigger that you get, what a lot of people don't tell you is, like, a lot of people want to go viral, get bigger, and all these things, but they don't have the foundation and the capacity to like sustain it, or even handle what that means. And I think that is where being quiet and really being able to like listen and process your own thoughts becomes really powerful, because it allows you to kind of give yourself direction.
Watch out. I've just had someone join the green room. And before, actually, well, I'll add him. I'll add him.
Feel a couple of nukes come.
Let me share. So, thank you, Paul, because there's some nuggets in what you shared in terms of thinking for ourselves and being missed. That you have to sort of maybe step away in order to get a sense of being missed. But I'm gonna change my camera here. I am eating my snack at the table, and this is apple slices, which I can use my fingers for.
So
with my
a
hands,
powdered donut
okay?
is too messy, but the apple juice all over your keyboard is fine, Steve.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Stop it. I can hold an apple slice without it being too messy. This is not a jam donut, okay? Just for those haters out there.
Did you inject yogurt into the apple? Is there vegan yogurt injected into the apple, Steve?
I won't munch. I'm munching it now while you wax lyrical, Mr. Whiskey. Okay.
You gotta dip that in some ketchup, Steve.
So,
are they called apples in Britain, or you call them something like something different?
No, they're called apples in Britain.
I got check.
It's a pump.
You got some strange names for stuff, so I gotta check.
There you go. We were commenting around the table about things being quiet. August tends to be the vacation month, and just in terms of what do we do when
Mr. Whiskey has no concept of
Sorry?
the word quiet. He doesn't know the meaning of the word quiet.
It was quiet. In my defense, I was sitting quietly in a waiting room, and then Steve made this big dramatic intro for me. So that was all the host of the One-on-One Thing podcast. That was his doing. I actually had it was fun. But first of all, Justin Workman, great to see you. It's been a long time.
You too.
I've tagged
has
you
been a
in
minute,
pictures of me
yes.
shirtless hula hooping with a weighted hula hoop. Steve, you haven't responded to a single thing I've tagged you
Yeah.
in all week. But I do want to say to you here, I said it on LinkedIn, but here face to face, my condolences for your uncle passing away. For
Thank you.
those who don't know, I know you're going through a loss right now. So I appreciate, you still showing up and doing this even through all of that. And yeah, I'm actually gonna I'm pretty tired. I was up till 5 a.m. this morning working on an episode that there was a sailor who went missing from the ship I started aboard, CVN 73 USS George Washington. Sailor went missing. They searched for days, couldn't find him, declared lost at sea. Very tragic story. Watched the interview with father, all this stuff. Until I called and talked to some of the sailors on the ship, and they said, well, that's a lie. He killed himself. We have his suicide note right here, and the chain of command is covering it up. And they lied to the news media. And that's not the first time the ship has done it. I started aboard that ship. There was a lot of stuff that got hushed. And so I was up all night working with some news teams and other stuff on covering that story. So long night for me. And then as I'm doing that, I get an email that my podcast is currently the #1 podcast on suicide prevention awareness on Good Pods. And I just got out of a call 2 minutes ago on suicide and prevention and awareness, especially with September coming up here in America, United States. It's a National Suicide Prevention, month. They've got a lot of events going on. And so it's been a heavy week for me. And it's just, you think about if my ship covered up this suicide or, kept it hushed and they've done other stuff like that similar. What about all the other ships in the fleet? And then we say all the ships in the Navy are doing it. Well, what about all the tanks in the Army, their airplanes, their bases? Is this happening in foreign militaries as well? Because I've had Australian Special Forces on my show talking about losing more people to suicide than in the Middle East. Same with Britain has a huge Navy. What's going on with that? People were talking about, as soon as I read the news article about the sailor missing, people all pointed the finger saying they believe that people threw him overboard and killed him on purpose because it's easy to make an accident when you're on an aircraft carrier out to sea on deployment and stuff like that happens. But, my first thought was this a suicide? Because my ship set the record, went under investigation, 3 suicides in a week, about 15, 17 in the past 2 years, multiple sailors. Typically back to back at the guy who was telling me about the suicide even said, as soon as they pulled into Japan, a few hours later, one of the nuclear operators was found dead in a hotel room, and CO didn't announce it to the ship, didn't tell no one, reactor captain kind of pulled reactor aside because it was one of their guys, but it's ridiculous. There was a murder. One of the guys on my ship murdered his wife, both of them serving on board the ship. Funny because there's no news articles about it. It's nowhere online. And it's been 2 years going on 3 years this spring. You're telling me there's been no court case, nothing. Maybe it was dealt in-house, but still the amount of stuff that they just technically they don't have to tell the public. It's like, this is ridiculous though.
That's a sad situation. There's no real comeback for that in terms of just I don't know what the thinking is behind taking those kinds of actions. When is something best kept out of the public eye? When is something best dealt with in-house? The military is, I've never served, so correct me, but there are law unto themselves in the sense of an aircraft carrier is a city on the water.
Yeah.
So with
What comes
regards
down
to
to when you withhold information, is it for the public safety? Is it for the benefit of everyone? Or is this a personal pride thing? Is it embarrassment? Because you look at my ship that I served aboard, set a record, went under investigation for so many suicides. So if you're them, you're thinking, wow, we just had another one. Could you imagine the public flashback, the amount of parents who have already been upset, the amount of change they've already pushed for? But the thing is that now you're taking your personal pride into account. It's like, here's the thing. You need they need to share this so that big Navy and big government and people can say, hey, this is still an ongoing issue. You know, instead of trying to be like, we took care of everything. The first time, my ship has been covering up stuff from the beginning, because when they were in shipyard and they got delayed from suicides and from COVID, and Big Navy said, you should be ready to move people on board, they just said, yep, we'll do it. Now, actually, we have unsafe work conditions. We have no running water. We have toxic gas. We have electrical hazards, and people got injured and people killed themselves because the ship was not livable. And they did not say to Big Navy, hey, actually, we can't live on the ship yet. We know that we were supposed to get it done by this time. We weren't able to do so because of all the new COVID restrictions. But there's like no accountability. It's just, all right, we're just going to just do what we're told, whether it makes sense or not. And that's the issue, because so many people in the military just rank is justification. Rank is God. If someone higher up says do something, whether it's right or wrong, whether it has moral implications, whether it will harm people, doesn't matter. You know, and so this has been going on since day one with my ship, since the shipyards, and it's just so ridiculous. You know, I think that they need to know. The issue is what they said when they don't talk about it, when they don't take care of it until a suicides. Then they said the message, we need enough, quote, enough suicides to happen for change to be made, instead of one is too many.
Justin.
Is there a mechanism for people to, I mean, I've never served either, so I'm, you know, basically ignorant, but is there a mechanism for people to feedback? Like you said, rank is the all, you know, if somebody says, but somebody above you says do something, then that's just it, right? I mean, we see that in entertainment, you know, movies, whatnot. Like, it's very prevalent, right, in the perspective that the public has on the military. And again, I don't know what the international military looks like, but I know what ours looks like from a, you know, sheerly entertainment perspective. But is there a mechanism to kind of circumvent rank that seems
so
out
here's
of
the
line?
thing. You look at, I mean, it's just like celebrity Hollywood or politicians, they protect their own, right? So there are laws and guidelines to hold leadership in the military accountable, third-party investigation opportunities, stuff like that. But a lot of them are going to protect their own. So if you have a bunch of leaders who all went to boot camp together or all served together on a ship for a long time, and they're all kind of ruling the same way and in the same unjustified way, well, then it's you against, you know, these people. And then when you're a new recruit on the ship and you're seeing injustice, and the captain's been there for 30 years in the military, you know, it becomes a very, as Steve Wright and I discussed on our show about managers who lead, not the Facebook group, but the episode, you know, we talked about the nothing new under the sun. I've been in this job so long that I can't learn anything, that fixed mindset. And that's why I experienced blue collar side with people who had been at the acid plant for 30 years. Well, that valve's never been broken in 30 years, so it's not broken today. Really? Here's the picture of it broken. I was just trying to use it and it's broken. Well, you should have fixed it. You know, it's instant, just redirect. And so, yeah, I remember.
Theoretically, there is a mechanism, but it's
like
as broken
one
as
time
the
I went
system
to report injustice, and I tried to talk to the chief about it first, and they went and punished me and got me in trouble for trying to report on them, which is technically considered retaliation. But retaliation can only be backed if I started the investigative paperwork. So if you talk to people first unofficially before making a big scene, which is what you're supposed to do peer-to-peer level, then you get punished, and then you can't get them for retaliation because you didn't start official paperwork. So it's ridiculous. And what a lot of times the military will do, which I've seen, is if you have an issue, they're going to drag it out so long and then wait until you're separated and then just drop it, you know, because there was a guy who sent out a third-party investigation on his senior chief for racism, for injustice, for harassment, for all this treatment. They dragged out the case all the way until like a few days after he was separated. We have concluded that nothing was wrong, blah, blah, blah. Finally, after he separated, they reached out to him. And this was a senior chief who, it's really tough being a single father or a father in the military, in the sense that if you're a single mother in the military, and you're like, hey, I got to come in late because I got to drop my kid off to daycare, or I got to leave early, they'll fill out the paperwork like instantly, like boom. At least this is what I saw at my command. Boom, like show up late, leave early. You're a single mom, so much power to you. If you're a single father and you're like, hey, I need to drop my kid off at daycare. I need to come in 30 minutes late or an hour late, and I need to leave this early. The senior chief told my friend, I'm your daddy now. This is your family. I'm your daddy. You're my son, and this is daycare. You're not allowed to leave early. And he had to fill out all this paperwork and fight the whole chain of command just to get to drop his kid off because he was a single father. It like, I never forget that, like, senior chief saying, I'm your daddy now. It like he was that really got under his skin. And I remember hearing about that, and it's stuff like that happens all the time.
Toxicity.
These are not managers who lead. They need to join the Facebook group Managers Who Lead, run by Steve Wright. There's great advice on healthy workplace leadership.
Holistic. Well, it's. I think we're looking at the screen here. We've all worked and been in environments where we've seen, humanity go awry in terms of people misusing or abusing their position or their rank, or maligning people for no reason, whether it's sort of institutionalized in terms of this is the way the company or the organization runs, and you've got no say in changing that, or whether it's someone having a personal gripe, be it ethnicity, race, gender, whatever, people just having a bad attitude to other people. I mean, it's the human condition. What you pointed out, Mr. Whiskey, is that from your vantage point of serving and being involved in the military and seeing it firsthand in a command that you've been under, you can speak directly to that situation. I've been in places where I've been the recipient of toxic management, and I've seen toxic management applied to other people. And it's never good. And I guess to the point we talked about, Paul was saying, like, thinking for yourself and appreciating the journey, people noticing you're gone. It requires people just to take a step back or take a beat in order to think for themselves, not even outside the box. You can stay inside the box but pause long enough to kind of get a sense of what's going on, and not just follow the status quo, the rhetoric of a situation, but actually stop and go, this isn't quite right. I've stepped away from it. I've looked at it again, and it doesn't sit well, or there's something off. But we don't have mechanisms. One, we don't have mechanisms to step away because everyone's got to be on it all the time. Machines don't rest. Machines don't sleep. They do need maintenance, ironically, but they're not like humans in terms of they go a lot longer, a lot faster, a lot harder than we do. And it's one thing trying to keep up with the Joneses as a person down the road that's doing well, but trying to keep up with machines as a person.
My man John Henry proved that humans are superior. He beat the machine. He drilled through the whole mountain. So I gotta combat you there.
John Henry.
The real question is, is there any way or any individual, maybe in this call, who can help leaders to lead with agility? I mean, where do we find resources for that?
Carl,
If I ever fix the entire military leadership program, I'm going to write a book forward by Justin Workman that says, "Are we there yet? The long journey to fixing military leadership."
I love Mr. Whiskey, the king of segue.
I know. I was like, man, I did nuke the conversation. I just came in. People were killing themselves. Sad time. And I was like, you guys are having a great chat. Justin even showed up. I mean, my bad.
Steve, though, like, I want to chime in a bit because I think you brought up like a really good point about how even just kind of like what we were talking about earlier, right? Like Carl was saying, like, oh, these like experts or these influencers like tell you what to do. I came across a post online, or it was like one of those like meme things that talked about how like the new daily battle is maintaining your humanity in a system that's trying to like train you like a machine. And I was thinking about that, how like when I have conversations with a lot of the clients that I work with, like for a lot of them, change is such a hard thing. And when I first started, that was like a piece that I didn't kind of understand. But like when you've been somewhere for like decades, and I understand that like the world is a completely different place now than it was then. And I think like that's something that a lot of that my generation doesn't really understand, is like a lot of people aren't this way like because they necessarily like chose to be it. Like the world that they grew up in was completely different. So it's like I think that's part of the huge disconnect with the generations, is that you have one generation that has the entire world at their fingertips, and it's like they're coming back and being like, well, you know, we know all this because of research and books and all these different things, and it's like this is the way that things are being done, but they're not understanding that hindsight's 2020. I mean, it's easy to say that looking back because it's like you had all the resources, like you have all the answers. And I think going back to the whole military thing, I did a kind of like a personal assignment for myself last year, just because I was so fascinated with the special forces. And there was a podcast where a lot of these like people who are like SEAL Team 6 and Delta Force, like all these classified like top notch like performers were coming on, and they were talking about their experience. And it's like what a lot of people don't understand is that the stakes are different for everybody else. Like it's easy to say like, hey, you know, you don't have to be like this way, but when it comes to war and a lot of these things, like that's not a human. War is like inhumane. So the fact that people try to inject kind of humanity into it is part of the problem. It's like you can't take something like that, because I remember a lot of them saying like, I didn't like killing people, but when you're in a position of like it's you or them, you know, or it's like you're the brother beside you, or all these things. So I think that's a huge part of the equation as well. And it's like a lot of them were even saying that the hardest adjustment that they had was like coming back from a lot of the war part, because it's like you're in an inhumane environment where you're trained and you're taught to like essentially be this machine, and then you come back and you're expected to be in this environment where you have like complete free will, and you know you kind of create your own structure, whereas like everything's kind of tailored for you. And you can use the same argument for why like a lot of people in prison, that becomes like a systemic thing. People are trained to like, this is what you do, right? Like, you know, your whole life and everything, you don't have to think about anything. And that's why I think like the most important thing is for people to learn to think and trust themselves, because a lot of it comes down to like what aligns with you. Like a lot of these people who speak out, they're like blackballed and blacklisted from, you know, the military. So it's like you have to weigh a lot of these pros and cons. But what I've seen is the difference is that alignment piece, about how like the reason why they're speaking up is because they're trying to, you know, change the system. And it really just takes one person to do it. We can look at countless examples of history, but I feel like that's a huge part of it, is that the grace and the compassion has really kind of evaporated from humanity. It's like people are so fixed on like there's one way to do stuff. And I think that's what's so fascinating about these conversations, is that everything you do is not only just a personal lesson, but you can incorporate it into business and all these different things as well. It's just all about, you know, your perspective and how you see things.
Yeah, you know, you hit on a couple of things that was big. The world is different now to then, and we've got some I'll be kind. We got some under 30s and we got some over 30s on the call here. Okay.
Did you just put me in the same group as you, Steve?
Damn right, Justin. Under 30, we got some under 30s and over 30s.
Justin, you
And
got grandkids, man.
it's-
What happens when somebody's 30 years old?
Come on now.
It's arbitrary. I mean, that's good. 30 is a generational gap, right? So
No,
it is interesting because the under 30 only actually know. I mean, can only actually experience the things that have been in their life while they've been alive. As an adult, they can go back to history and they can look at stuff from a
Like
historical
Tom Locke.
perspective, just like I could go back centuries, right? We can all go back in time and look at things. But the over 30s remember a time before the under 30s weren't even around. That doesn't necessarily give us a foot up on anything. It just gives us a different perspective. To be fair, I'm not going to laud the over 30s over the under 30s, because the stuff that's happening now is happening to both of us, under and over. So I have to value your input today because you're living it today without the perspective of 30 years ago, whereas I'm living it today with the perspective of 30 years ago.
So let's put that into perspective, Steve.
Go, Pierre.
If you don't mind, right? I'm going to check. By the way, just to let you know, I was a senior ranked Air Force pilot for 7.5 years. So I've actually been in the military, and I've actually had a little bit of firefighting in my life. So I know what it's all about in that sense. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But your example of the 30s and the under 30s and the over 30s as well. The prime example is the change of the mobile phone. So those people who are over 30, who have done it, and we'll put it as you've done it, have grown up without the mobile phone, and with the mobile phone we've had to adapt, right? That is the biggest change in all our lives. You Paul, Justin, and the Swiss Gibbs, you've grown up with the mobile phone, right? All the time through. You know no different from that. Now, where there's a big change is that the people who go back to it can say, oh, I remember when I didn't have it, and you actually had a phone line, or you didn't even have a phone line, you used to go out and do things differently. But that's the factor of change management, how things happen, right? And I'm talking to Carla Cole knows as well, so the agile approach, how we've actually moved on from, say, the waterfall to, in the banking system, a new ways of working called agile, and it's like, even to this day, it's a paradigm shift, and those are things that have to happen, and we've been forced into those things. We've been forced to move to the mobile phone. We've been forced to the technology. Now, going back to what you said, Paul, it's those people have always remembered what it was like in the good old bad days, as we used to call it, and we've been nicknamed. Our nickname, where I came from, was we were Winwies, because when we were in our country, we did it slightly different to everybody else. And that's what the people remember, and they procrastinate on. It'll never go back to what it was, but people feel comfort about talking about historical days, right? When in fact they have to change because they have to make things happen. Does that kind of resonate?
Yes, because my father refused to learn technology. He said it's evil. I don't like the way the world is changing. And now he's useless, no offense. Meanwhile, there are 80-year-olds and 70-year-olds who have been on my podcast, who know how to Zoom call, who know how to publish a book, do technology. They did not. I understand it, right? People are resistant to change. But it's like, now my father calls me. People don't have a fax machine anymore. People aren't taking cash change anymore. How do I send this email? How do I do this and that? And it's like, you kind of either keep up or get left behind, and then you need someone to take care of you. And it's like, I am so impressed when I have 80 years.
Does it still work, Steve? Does it still work?
I
wish I had two cans.
It's a model. Right now. It's a model, but this was my first phone.
Well, Steve, I thought you had carrier pigeons when you were born. They had carrier pigeons that you would put a little letter on.
That phone used to last about 30 minutes to before it lost its charge.
Talk time was about 45 minutes. That's about it.
You see,
Steve, is that what kept you a ladies' man, or kept was it after 45 minutes you just kind of lose your touch, or was it
This was a babe magnet, man. If you walked up in a club with one of these, man, oh man.
I think I would get
all eyes on you.
And not only that you could use it as a phone, you could use it to hammer nails into the wall. You could use it as a spirit level. You could chuck it at people, and it would still work.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Justin, that was the most confusing part. You said you didn't serve in the military, but I saw your shoulders for a brief moment there. Are you sure you weren't a Marine, or?
I was never in the military.
What did you do in the military? Where were you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I was a electrician's mate nuclear operator. Yeah, I'm not actually special forces. I am training mock special forces for a charity with actual special forces in Green Berets. Now, if they deem me honorary and give me a special certificate, then I will start. They'll say Special Forces whiskey, up here.
Nice.
You're special
Thank
in
you,
my
Justin.
book.
You're I miss you, man. It's been I haven't talked to you in probably like 6 months. Except for when I tagged you in that shirtless hula hoop video, me with my weighted hula hoop out, and I did it for 40 minutes straight, 90-degree humidity. I tagged Steve Wright, saw Wright coaching. I tagged like 5 different Instagram profiles for Steve, and he didn't respond to any of them. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I had the dog in the stroller. Everyone
saw that.
Yeah, I had her in the stroller. I filled the stroller with weighted plates, put on my weighted vest, and ran for an hour and 10 minutes straight. Didn't realize that I found out a lot of marathon runners wear pasties. Those are little nipple stickers. My weighted vest did indeed tear one side of my body. And I learned the hard way that I'm done running shirtless with with weighted vests on. My friend actually said that if I want to be more discreet, because I hate wearing my weighted vest in public, people think it's bulletproof. Or people think I'm a cop. They come up to me, they're like, "Officer, I need your help." I'm like, "No. I'm special forces, not police."
There was a great Dave Chappelle bit about just because I'm dressed this way does not mean I'm X, Y, or Z. You'd have to check it out.
Because every time I dress nice, people are like, "Oh, you must be gay." No, I just like to look nice. I've had this my whole life because I wear dress shirts everywhere. But anyway, my friend said if you want to be discreet, he said buy a bunch of chainmail, find the heaviest you can, put on a shirt, put on the chainmail, put on another shirt, and no one will know. So that's what I might start doing. My ankle weights are 4 pounds, and I thought they were discreet, and then I got stopped for a medical frisk for cankles that were swollen elephantitis diagnosis. So I was like, no, I'm just wearing ankle weights with my weighted boots, with my steel toe weighted boots. It's 16 pounds of ankle weights on my leg. So I know, Steve, it's not 16 pounds of cash. I know you use pounds for your money over there in where you are. 16 pounds as in like a couple kilos.
I'm just checking you out with that. I'm just checking you out with the hula hoop.
Oh, look at the weighted hula hoop. A little goofy looking. Yeah.
It is a little.
Well, here's the thing, Steve. Let me be honest with everyone. I was recording it, obviously, and I was like, how do I make this look less stupid? And when I did this, it became not postable. It looked I was like, I'm gonna get censored for this one. Like, it just
you should censor.
There's no way to look up.
Very sensual. Very sensual. Yeah.
No. This is just the review of it. The actual video of me doing it was limited on my story.
Okay.
I actually had a video of me doing it, spinning with it.
Oh, let me stop that then, just for copyright purposes here.
Yeah. Let me see. I could pull up the actual video of it. I'll send it to you right now. So,
yeah.
Because you gotta see it in action. I don't know. 1 pound did not feel heavy enough at all. Let me find. Steve has multiple Instagrams.
I'm gonna say this has got. Is this an under 30 thing? Oh, check him out.
Oh yeah.
Is this an
under 30 thing?
We need the video of the hands behind the head.
So it's not an under 30 thing. This is white middle-aged women, respectfully, who use this fitted hula hoop. I happened to find it at a Bin Depot store on sale for $12 instead of $60. So I bought it to try it out. And it's, I don't know. Again, if you do it when it's 90 degrees out, the issue that day was mosquitoes. I had over 20 bites on both calves. I have a very attractive blood type to mosquitoes. Hopefully to women as
No
well.
doubt.
but
Just
to
mosquitoes.
and,
Mosquito, yeah. Not just mosquitoes. Not just.
yeah. No, my pagan goth girl days are over. I am a man of God now. You can see right where is it?
Yeah.
It's mirrored. So
Yeah, it's over
Yeah.
there. There
no
you
more,
go.
no more pagan women in my life.
There you go. But I was
But-
gonna say, just looking at your, cause it has been to the whole point that we made about taking a break from social media. I've not avoided your posts, Mr. Whiskey. It's just that
Thank you.
Instagram's
I was
not.
really deeply offended.
It's not my. It's not my space of choice, I guess. But yeah, I do appreciate your inputs there. But yeah,
Well, you
I
were
was
supposed
looking.
to jump rope every
Your
time I
feed is.
worked out. So you're avoiding accountability, is what it is, Steve. You said every time, because I jump roped several times and I tagged you, and you said I will jump rope back when you jump rope. You said, in fact, you said, "quote," this is a verbatim quote, "I will jump rope with agility." I remember you saying that word for word.
I do remember saying I would jump. And to be
In
fair,
fact, Justin, why aren't you on the walking treadmill, Justin? Why are you sitting? Is it your rest day? Are you suntanning?
It's a long story.
I'm glad it's
There you
not just me then. But I have jump rope. I have jump roped. But I think there's a thing that I'm always mindful of not oversharing, but sometimes just I don't want to post everything that I do.
Yeah.
I do think of you when I jump, though. To be honest, this is no lie. I do think of you when I jump because I know you're going through this 30-day thing. So yeah, I'm mindful of when I'm working out. I'm thinking, Whiskey's doing his stuff right now.
I think of you when I see donuts, chopsticks, and Jamaican food. So if that makes you feel better.
A lot better.
I actually had a conversation with my wife about jerk chicken the other day, and we
Did
talked about.
Steve tell you about how he's
No.
dipping Oreos in jerk chicken sauce to celebrate Jamaican Independence Day?
No, that was you.
He called
I
them,
haven't heard
he
that.
called them biscuits.
I
he said, "I'm
wondered,
dipping
Steve-
my biscuits," but it doesn't sound that British. I don't know. Steve's accent is like not quite British, not quite Jamaican. It's kind of,
It's
I don't know how to
nothing.
describe it. It's uniquely Steve, right?
Justin, go.
I was wondering about the hurricane and all of that down in the Caribbean. Has Jamaica?
You know what? I've spoke to my mom this week. I've not heard anything. They've had funny weather, but it hasn't been bad. It hasn't been bad. And fortunately, Jamaica gets, and the Caribbean, the hurricane season does impact parts of Jamaica, but they've not had a serious storm for a while. Things have they've come up on the warnings, and thankfully they've either shifted direction or they've missed us completely. Someone's saying that, but yeah,
Except for a storm of independence.
yes, thank you. Yeah, it's been great. But yeah, I've not heard any news. We'll catch you next time, Pierre. Thank you, bro. I've got someone just joining right now as we come near to the end there. Prince Will, this is a new. It's gonna be interesting here. Are they? Prince Will, are you there? Can you hear us?
I'm on a protected witness list. I hope it's not someone I know.
Uh-oh. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Oh, you can hear us. How are you doing, Prince Will? Are you able to get on camera real quick? I don't know if the time zones. We're coming up to the hour here. We usually, the water cooler's closing up sort of shortly, but just wanted to invite you in. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Nigeria.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Got some representation there. That's great. Are you able to get on camera? Or is it technically difficult for you?
Yeah, I'm trying to turn on my camera.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, welcome. First time here. There you go. Good to see you.
Hi.
You're being seen all the way from Nigeria. Which part of Nigeria?
Port Harcourt, River State.
Port Harcourt, River State.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been to Lagos. That's my only
Wow.
sort of claim to fame.
Kind of next door to where Justin lives, right?
Something, yeah, pretty close.
Lagos is not it's not anywhere near Oklahoma. Prince, welcome. My name's Steve. This is my water cooler space here. We've got Paul to my right, my
Steve,
left.
manager who leads. You gotta make it rhyme.
This is Mr. Whiskey down here. Over here
down
is
under.
Justin, and down here is Carl. And just I'll give you a few seconds. Just introduce yourself. What do you do in the world? Just and what made you join?
Yeah, so my name is Prince James and I'm a systems engineer with 3 years of experience working in tech industry and a lot of things. So I just got your invite and I've been receiving your invite, so I just decided to join this time to learn, to hear from you guys, and also to pick from your brains and all of that.
Fantastic.
Industry.
Yeah. There's a few brains worth picking. There's a couple others that are.
We've got Justin Workman, not to be mistaken with Justin a working man, but actually a man who's sitting down. So Justin, where's the podcast? Did you launch it yet?
No.
Okay.
So Prince, around the room, and this is great because people coming from all walks, all spaces. My big thing is for us to connect and be authentic, and just have a place where it's virtually a water cooler. If you walked out, if we were in the same space, it would just be a place where or the break room. I guess the UK call it the break room, right, Carl?
Scuttlebutt on a Navy ship.
Yeah, the scuttlebutt on the Navy ship. So, place to hang out, just chat. No real agenda, but that is the agenda. And then things come up that's close to our hearts, and if there's a question for the room, then that you'd like feedback on, then we can certainly do that. But we normally go 4:30 to 5:30. So we're right at the bottom of the hour right now. But as you've come in, and you've got, without us introducing ourselves, but do you have a question for the room?
Yeah, I would love to know more about you guys. So I don't know if you mind.
Sure. If we can keep it, I'll time the tar out of all of you. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to tell Prince what you do. Paul, you go first.
Prince, nice to meet you. For me, primarily, it's just working with the 50+ age demographic and helping them build their profit and presence online. And I believe that impossible equals impossible. And I created a show that turned into a movement. So it's a little about me.
Damn, that was fast, Paul. Next, Mr. Whiskey.
Hi, Bar.
I am a preacher, speaker, comedian, entrepreneur, podcaster, writer. There you go.
I should do this more often. Justin.
We need like a 30-second timer. If
I was trying to think of something on the screen.
You got a little one from the dentist they give you, the little hourglass.
Exactly. Yeah. We got to pass the timer.
There you go.
I don't do any of the stuff that they do. I barely connect with people. I work
Future podcaster.
Future podcaster, fine. I work in the IT industry as well. I work for a software company, and I do different things for them, mostly technical.
He is
an future author, Justin. We got to fill you in on the book we're writing.
Yeah, he is.
He
is an amazing. Technologist, by the way, Princewell. Justin,
is that my timer going off? That's my 30 seconds.
That was the timer going off. Carl. Oh, you're mute.
We can't hear you, Carl. No wonder. I haven't heard from you in ages.
Yeah.
Hearing by the word of God.
Oh, keep talking. We can't hear you.
Do we have a lip reader here? Here, I'll translate. My name is Carl Adamson. I help businesses accelerate, and I deliver with agility. I like cake. Sometimes I wear pants to Zoom calls, but not always.
Big on coffee.
And cake. We can't hear you.
Can you hear now? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
there we go.
Yeah, go for it, Carl.
Okay. Coming through my AirPods.
The 30
I
plus.
help
man
coaches and consultants amplify their personal brands to get more clients on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
There you go.
How's that?
Yeah.
He's an author too. He's also an author.
And he's an author.
I'm an author. Yes, I'm an author too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also am a pregnancy support guide specialist, but I don't really talk about that much. And that's not ironic. That's unironic. I do work in that field.
I thought that was one of your stand-up jokes, so I wasn't sure whether to laugh or not.
No. No, I work
Is it pre-pregnancy or post-pregnancy guiding? That's the real question.
I help women who I created a resource guide available on my website that I'm developing into a full book and program where women who are the number one cause of abortion is financial hardship. This helps them navigate financial resources to enable them to keep the life of their child rather than murdering it. So it guides them through different faith programs, different physical fitness programs, and connecting them with resources so they choose to not get an abortion, to choose life. And I also have an email hotline set up for women who are debating abortion if they need to speak to someone through the Couple of Nukes program as well. I've never gotten a chance to talk about that. I did it the night of Mother's Day. I created the entire thing because my mom doesn't talk to me. And so I was like, I'll celebrate Mother's Day by helping pregnant women. So there we go.
Wow.
Love your energy. Love your energy, Whiskey.
And if you need help getting pregnant, no.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about.
If you need to get pregnant,
this is live, folks.
if you need to get pregnant with agility and accelerate your pregnancy, I accelerate pregnancies, not businesses. That then in turn accelerates someone's business.
There you go. So, Prince, well, that's pretty. These
you need to lead, be a manager who leads. Steve,
there you go.
You gotta
These
plug the managers who lead. I tell you.
no, that's no. Well, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I just want to share that these are the cohort that keep us grounded. And they're not just all men. I mean, we've got some amazing ladies that join us. I'll give a shout out to a few of them. Margaret Barry, Heather Barry, Alexandra Norris, Yayoi, my birth twin. Shout out, thank you, Yayoi, for backing me up on the chopsticks idea on the
That's
donut.
not fair, Steve. That's
no,
not fair.
she was right.
There is bias there. There's bias there. Yayoi grew up in a country that uses chopsticks to eat everything. I think there's some biasing there.
It's bias or not, she's on point. Chopsticks
Also,
with
we
donuts is
Justin's
fine.
gender. Justin, do you identify as a man? I just want to make sure that
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you identify as the man?
75%.
That's more than 50. That's good. That's good. So, Prince, well, that's what we do in this space. You're more than welcome to drop in. I run this every Wednesday, 4:30 UK time. I guess the times it's British Standard Time. So that if your clocks don't change, then the times might change at the end of the summer. Yeah. But
we're about to change here in 2-ish months. We're about to fall behind unless Trump gets rid of daylight savings times. So many people have said they're getting rid of it, and they never do. And then guess what, Steve? Every time the clock falls back, I'm standing midnight watch, doing some kind of security duty, and I get an extra hour work. And then every time the clocks fall ahead, guess what? It's my day off. It has lined up that way historically. Every year of military service, I was somehow on midnight watch.
Hey,
when the clocks fell back.
You're out. You're separated. You're fine.
You're out. Yeah. Deal with it, man. Get over it already. See, over 30s don't stress that kind of stuff. we're like.
Paul, over 50, that's the separation. Over 50 is the separation.
You don't even have daylight saving times in Britain, do you?
There you go. Pinchwell, does Nigeria have daylight savings?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
well, because you're close to the equator, so I just didn't know whether more equatorial countries would be arguing not to have it because they don't have the separation in day. You know, the days are pretty even around the equator.
It's
So
outdated farming stuff, Steve. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as I understand it,
that's interesting.
and as the most farmer-looking person here, get rid of it.
Arguably.
Yeah.
Now Justin lives on the actual farm land, you know, so
Mm.
he has the
Really?
most.
Yeah,
opinion.
we don't. Yeah, we have electric lighting, so we don't need to save daylight.
Courtesy of IT gentlemen like Steve Wright, IT genius.
There you go. Do you have a question? Do you have another question for us, Prince? Well, we're going to close out in a minute, but I wanted to give you a bit of the floor since you're joining us for the first time. Welcome, and please don't be a stranger. I love the African representation, man. We're truly worldwide here.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
not enough.
I really don't have any question for now, but I'll make sure I join the next Wednesday. I'm coming with a lot of questions.
All right, fine.
I have a
fine.
question.
Yes.
I want to extend this for just that much longer. I have a
Yeah.
question. We've talked about Pierre talked about it, Paul has talked about it. I don't know if Whiskey's talked about it or not. But the concept of changing. You know, we were talking about changing and adapting. My question is, how do we learn to change? And I know that's a big question. We probably don't have the space for it left, but you know, we've talked about resistance to change, human resistance to change, etc. How do we get more comfortable with change?
Okay. I will do.
30 seconds.
I'll do a 30 second round robin. I will find a timer for this platform because I think that's great. Great to have fast round robin things. It's not an answer. It's not a response that you're going to answer in the time, but it may be able to throw some things into the pot. Yeah.
Help you constrain. Yeah.
So the question is, let me write the question out. How do we? Oh, did I miss? No, I didn't miss any quotes here. How do we? What's that?
Learn
Embrace
to change. How do we embrace change? Learn to change. Yeah.
Learn to change.
Let's start with Carl. I want Carl to go first. Set your timer, and then Carl will go.
Has the timer running yet? By the time he's done
Change
it,
with agility.
I've said what I wanted to say. Do you want me to say it while you're doing that, Steve?
Go for
At
it.
the same time? We learn to change by changing our behaviors, embracing new things, new practices, new behaviors. By doing that, we can see the results of those behaviors and we can learn from them, and we can learn new behaviors. You can't do it just by, people say mindset first, but I found that behavior first. There's a great book, Act Like a Leader, Think Like a Leader. That's a book worth reading. I know Steve always likes me to quote a book.
Please.
Act first, and then you'll learn to embrace new behaviors.
Cool.
Manage like a leader. That's a new book coming out.
There you go. There you go. I like that. Behavior first. That's Carl's. Who's next?
Paul, I volunteer you.
I would say like it's really about I look at change as just like a constant of being. It's always happening, and the best way to do it is to get out of your comfort zone, like do things that you haven't experienced before, because you get to really formulate your own thoughts versus accepting other people's truths and biases, and from that you create your own alignment on what's important to you.
I didn't even start the timer and you finished. That's great. I like that. So getting outside our comfort zone. Whiskey?
Yeah, so for me, it's just trust and faith in God, right? So many people block their own restrictions because they focus so much on their way, and they don't allow room for God's way. So, there it goes.
No, that was the other one. Go ahead.
But yeah, I think when you trust God and you surrender it all over to Him, you're no longer afraid of change. You just know that every change happening in your life, even if it's from the enemy, God's going to use it for the good, for the blessing, salvation of many. So, you know, everything in my life is not at all what I wanted or expected, but I've embraced all of it because God has allowed me to help so many people through it. And I know that, his change is way better than my change.
All right. Right on the money. Good. So that is accepting, I'm just highlighting accepting God's will, God's way, and his will. That's cool. For
Steve, I'm gonna
me,
start your timer.
yeah, I'll start my timer. For me, learning to change is understanding that change is part of who we are. It's inevitable. It has to happen. And the part of the question is learning, being able to take the feedback from a change and use it for good. And that's going to be key.
I have a follow-up.
Oh, Princewell. How do we learn to change?
Yeah, I would say change is part of everybody, but it's a decision you have to make. Either ways, every day everyone changes, either in a bad way or in a good way. So you have to grow every day. So it's a decision you make. And most of the times while we are growing up, they have to say you have to discipline, make change, discipline. But I don't think it's discipline, it's desire. You have to love something for you to be able to grow, for you to be able to change to what you want in your future or ahead of you. So
Yeah.
it's just you having desire for what you want to change. Yeah.
Desire is the factor. That's good. Desire over discipline.
That's probably, yeah, that's probably a good answer to my follow-up, because I was going to cite Mark's dad as the, resistance to change. Change is inevitable. You guys have all said that, and I agree. Change is inevitable. But when you're resistant to change, like he's talked about his dad, how do you overcome that resistance? And you just have to be willing, right? Basically, that's the secret, is you have to understand the inevitability of it and then be willing to just kind of flow with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
ring true with everybody?
Yes. And
When I was thinking about divorce and marriage, when not being able to change and grow with your partner, or if you're being held accountable to things, not changing your behaviors, and then ultimately choosing to stay in your own way. And sometimes that's fine if you're being righteous with your morals, but if it's like certain things that are changeable, I think about how many like people fall in love and then they change as they grow up together. And it's that's all I was gonna say. Well, I was thinking
that's great. I was thinking about the Adam Grant book, Think Again, in terms of it's interesting because the rethinking is there's sometimes resistance to rethinking because there is a resistance to change. And we talked about it before, like Justin, in terms of, hey, I'm in the house. I'm in the house for life. I've got a car. I'm going to keep the car till I'm going to run it to the ground. And sometimes we don't want to rethink something that we've already thought about because there's either risk or fear associated with it. So
when change can be difficult, it can be long. You could be like, are we there yet? You can be like, change is taking so long. Or like, I think so many people are short-term thinkers, where sometimes with change, you need to be a long-term thinker, where you're like, hey, this change I'm making today, I'm not going to see, like, think about the gym. Like I've been dealing with a hypermetabolism and losing weight every week my whole life. And it's like, do I wish I could go to the gym and get jacked like Justin overnight? Of course. But I know that change is going to take maybe 2 years. Some people don't see results for a long time. So I think part of embracing change is patience and long-term thinking.
There you go. There you go.
That's
what the over 30s subscribe to. Carl leaves the room.
No, but honestly, the under 30s, a lot of them with the instant gratification with why do you think so many young men on Instagram are taking steroids? Because they want that change overnight. Young women, why do you think they're getting plastic surgeries and stuff? And sometimes it's stuff that they can never change, but sometimes it's just like, think of Ozempic, a quick fix of, oh, let me inject stuff into my stomach to lose weight, rather than actually put in the work to get the change. Change is sometimes change is unexpected, and also change has to be earned sometimes. And some people don't want to earn a change in their life.
It's true.
There's a lot of different angles we can take this.
Yeah, and that comes back to what Carl was saying about sometimes it's behavior, the behavior has to be part of that, and desire, to what to Prince was saying. It's got to be in place, so that you can go through the stuff to earn the change that you want. You know,
And
Tony
this
Robbins
all
had a
leads us
program.
curious to Justin. Do you have some kind of change you're resisting right now?
Not really. I've talked about on the show before about the evaporation of my motivation that I had at the start of the year. I was talking about it again just the other day, and I don't think it was like my start of year motivation was necessarily keyed to the start of the year. I think I came into this year with a lot of motivation, and it's all kind of gone out the window. I faced some personal hardships in the middle of this year. Steve, you're well aware of that, and the kind of ongoing consequences of those things
Yeah.
that have further sapped my motivation that was already waning. So I'm not resistant. I mean, I guess resistant is a good word, but yeah, like I had just a ton of motivation for physical, mental, spirit, like all kinds of stuff, and it's just really, really kind of waned. And yeah, I'm just trying to assess how to get back on track.
Well, allow me to quote one of my favorite David Goggins clips. So many people are focused on motivation. Motivation is nothing. It's about I'm driven and disciplined, because motivation comes and goes. It's a way. It's garbage.
True.
It's
true.
a bunch of curse words insert.
Yes, of course.
Be driven and disciplined. Wake up. On the days I don't want to do it, I go and do it. I go and do it double.
It still sucks.
so-
Yeah, he hates it and he still does it. Yeah.
Um,
But
wh-
there's a mental I don't know. How do you overcome it? And I think Carl hit the nail on the head. You got to act. You got to just punch and push.
Well, that's why discipline is
claw
so
and fight.
important in all the
Yeah.
little things. When he who is disciplined in a little can be disciplined in a lot. So, because we talked about this at Bible study, like journaling, fasting, praying. If you slip up and you start justifying, you're like, hey, I skipped today. It's a cheat day. Or like, even I had a gym partner who would, on our 10-minute run, would end it 4 seconds early. And what that develops into bad habits of ending more and more early until you just don't do it. See, I think, but when you're disciplined in a little, it helps you be disciplined in a lot, which helps with those hard days, because that's, again, like David Goggins said, you got to put in 100% on the days we want to do the least, and that's why, even if you have a bad day, if you wake up, there was a great speech I've never watched actually about, make your bed every morning, about that little disciplinary habit and how it translates into life, so that's what it is, and I have found it great, because I used to be like motivational. I need my motivation. Now, like I'm even in a punishment mindset where if I'm at the gym and I look at the elliptical, I'm like, I don't really feel like doing 10 minutes today. Well, guess what? We're doing 20 now. Like letting Dave Goggins describes it as telling your body that you're in charge. There is no motivation. There is no brain. So every time I'm like, man, I think I'll stop the run early today. Now we're going the extra mile. And what that does is like, it just, I love being so driven and disciplined. It's what allows me, when I have no sleep, when I have no energy, when I have no motivation, when there's no benefits up front that I'm seeing, that's what helps with those long-term goals, in my opinion.
I believe discipline is really important for a person. But most of the times when you think about discipline, it's like you have to every day force yourself to do it, discipline yourself to do it. But if you have desire for it, if you love what you're doing, you don't have to force yourself, or every day you have to go in and force yourself. You just have to go because you love what you're doing. So I think the most thing for whatever you're doing is desire, love what you're doing. In that way, you don't have to force yourself or discipline yourself to do it. You just have to do it because you love it.
Yeah, there's a middle space as well, between, because we all take the word discipline. Often it's got a negative connotation. It's something that's being imposed on you. But the word comes from disciple.
Yes.
And disciple is a learner, which means that discipline is the act of discipline is what a learner does, because a disciple does that. So if you're in the learning space rather than the forced or the oppressed mindset that we have now with the word, if you're in the learning space, then there's a desire to learn. There's something that you want to learn. There's something that you seek to learn, and learning a little is often the gateway to learning more. So even if you take that, the term, being disciplined in a little allows you to be disciplined in more. It's a disciple that is learning a little bit and enjoying what they're learning and then learning more. We've all got references for things that we've dipped our toe into that we're interested in, and it's piqued our interest to go further.
Yeah.
Right. So, but we wouldn't call that discipline, but in actual fact, that's what it is, because that's what a disciple does when they have got a desire to do something. Whether you go the Goggins end in terms of making everything that you think you shouldn't do into something that you must do, that almost becomes a mindset thing, because you're telling your brain to own your body, right? And that may work in certain circumstances, and I'm not saying it works for everybody. It works for Goggins because that's what he does. That's who he is. That's his being. His behaviors reflect the results. So again, to what Carl says, if you lead with behavior and then assess the change, then you've got a reference for learning. Moisey said it really well in one of his things, that if someone slaps you around, if someone slaps you around the face, they put their hand out and they slap you around the face, and then the second time they put their hand out and you don't duck, you didn't learn. You get slapped again, right? And the intelligence is the ability to learn. How many slaps do you take before you duck?
Yeah.
If you take 15 slaps before you duck, then you're a slow learner, or you're less than intelligent. If it takes one, it may take two, because you may want to know the context in which you got hit, or the context in which something happened. But you learn, you get the feedback loop. And that's where behavior and action and change.
I think we can sum this up in 2 words for everyone listening. And Justin, for you specifically, 2 words to summarize all of this: stay hard. Justin, I want you, Justin, I don't know what change is going on in your life that you're resisting, but this motivation stuff, whatever it is that you're about to do, if you feel unmotivated, I just want you to hear me in the back of your head being like, stay hard. And you're going to be like, you know what? That's right. I'm a disciple. I'm a learner. I am a working man, a workman. I am going to do this. I'm an a technologist. Steve called you a technologist. Like, you got to remember the titles you hold.
Yeah.
You're a manager who leads.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a great point. I'm trying to drag this thing out even further. Is that I do appreciate Whiskey's ability to just call things as he sees them and call out,
like Steve as handsome,
call out accomplishments as he sees them. Whether we think he's being hyperbolic, he's kind of over the top, but he calls them out, and I appreciate that in him. He stands for things that he believes, and he shows up real.
And I don't mind being a little goofier on this, because this is my social event for the week. And I know both Justin and Steve and most of the people who listen know that I work in a lot of heavy topics every day, all day. I've been working on suicide since, midnight last night until just half an hour, 2 minutes before I got on this call here. So, and I'm capable of both ends. And I think a person who's capable of both is very versatile, because there are people, the reason I do comedy, because I was never a comedian, is to reach the people who can only speak through that medium. They're like comedy, preaching, writing, speaking, those are my mediums. Now, the people who need to be cursed at and yelled at, that's a different medium. I don't do that niche.
But you got a guy that does.
But I know a guy who does.
I know a guy that does.
I know a guy.
On that note, it's a long one. It's a 90-minute one, so I'm gonna really call time here. Princewell, it's been a real pleasure to have you join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
For those that are watching,
you on the hot seat, we're gonna interview you and ask you all kinds of questions.
For sure. And it's great to have. I send the invites out all the time to lots of people in my connection list, and I'm okay who shows and doesn't show, but it's a real pleasure to have someone come out and just kind of find out what this is about. And
Bring your friends next time. Bring some friends.
yeah, it's definitely something that we'd like to see grow and develop, and people can watch the replay. That's why I do it as a live as opposed to an audio.
And Steve,
But-
if they want to get more of your wisdom, is there a podcast that they could listen to that either you've been a guest
No,
on
there
or
isn't.
host yourself?
There is the one-to-one thing. I if you follow me,
Not what I meant. He was on the Couple of Nukes podcast, is what I was trying to say. And
and a couple of Nukes podcasters. We've got
yeah, he will
podcasters
be
in
a
the
co-host,
mix
but
here.
Are we there yet?
It's and we got Arby there yet on the horizon.
It's not here yet.
It's not yet. But it's on the way. But thank you,
One-on-one
Mark.
podcast. Check it out.
Mark, Justin, Princewell. Thank you guys. It's been a blast. Always a roller coaster. So I really appreciate it. Paul for joining, Pierre, Carl. I don't know if you have anybody in the feeds, but if you're watching this on replay, check and connect with us. And I don't even want to repeat Mr. Whiskey's two-word, stay hard.
Stay hard.
But
I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's good for that sort of stuff. So there you go. Good luck. Good luck with the training, Mark.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be keeping everyone updated. And
I'll be watching.
30 years from now, Steve, I will be reaching out to you to be my midlife coach. So thank you.
I'll get you to it and through it. You don't know.
We'll jump rope together.
There you go. Love it. All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.